So, do you want to see the magic of Color Me Beautiful Cosmetics come to life, utilizing all of the amazing skills that you and I have worked out together here in this wonderful platform on the Color Me Beautiful Cosmetics and skills we've learned in the month of August? This whole episode is going to be dedicated to the celebration of color and the use of color and Color Me Beautiful Cosmetics on our faces for our everyday application. So right now, we're going to walk through all of the great pieces from the top down that we've discovered in the month of August. So come along, let's do this together. I'm going to start with eyebrows. And the piece that I'm going to use first is actually the eyebrow pencil. So this is the Color Me Beautiful eyebrow pencil, and I have this one in brown. Although my handle, you'll see, is just a little bit worn off, but that's okay. It's because I love it and I use it pretty regularly. And I'm going to use a handheld mirror to show how we put this color application on with the pencil. So I'm going to roll up just a little bit more. We also worked with using the brow powders. So we can set our eyebrows with brow powders, or you can use the eyebrow pencils to color in the eyebrow and make them more defined. Do you use the pencil or do you use a brow powder? And maybe you've never tried either one and you'd like to try that too. Share with us in the comments down below which of these two that you prefer to use. And then go ahead and share the color that you like to use too. I know that I am using the brown because I feel like it most closely resembles the hair on my head. And sometimes when I've had my hair colored, I really like to take the time to do my eyebrows in a color that matches more specifically the color that I've put on my head. Maybe you guys do that too. And you'll notice that I'm kind of missing a little bit of this inside corner right here. So I actually draw that down just a little bit with the pencil. And then move up and out in hair-like strokes. Up and out in hair-like strokes. So I have a fuller natural eyebrow, and I also have a little bit of microblading done. I don't have a full microbladed eyebrow. You'll see that some of this is hair as I use the spoolie brush that's on the end of this applicator, so that I can comb up and out with the hair and make those strokes of the color or the cosmetic appear more like hair and look more natural within the actual eyebrow. And then I use the spoolie brush to also lay that back down again as well. All right, same thing over here. Focus on my tail just a little bit more. So if you have not done that before, you can actually practice using some of those really light feathery strokes. It is so much easier, in my experience, to add color to the face than it is to take it away. So I apply baby bits to start with, and that's for my personal experience, baby bits to start with until I feel like I understand how much of the product I actually need to create my desired effect. I'm just filling in some of the fleshy gaps so that the eyebrow appears more full. I like a dynamic eyebrow. I like an eyebrow to look strong. Richard Ryan, hello, good morning. Thank you so much for making your comment below. Now, Richard, I don't necessarily expect you to have used the eyebrow pencils or the brow powders, but have you ever done that for any of your stage cosmetics? Have you ever used these pieces and can attest to that? Or what are your clients saying about the eyebrow pencils and then the eyebrow powders? I do love the pencil. So I'm going to put the lid on that and set it back down. Let me take a look at those. I like that. But one of the wonderful things that I learned from our magnificent president, Sharon, is the way to use the concealers to really help define above and below your brow. So I'm going to use the medium concealer. Thank you. I'm going to use the medium concealer here with one of my just regular brushes that I have. And I'm actually going to pat a little bit of this color here, kind of on the back of my hand, so that I don't have too much color out of the pot onto my brush. This is a synthetic bristle brush. And I'm going to go right below the brow to sharpen that underside, and then also right above it. So the concealer was one of the magical pieces that we showed, really just how much amazing coverage that it provides. But this can also help you clean up the look of your eyebrow. Just make it a little sharper. On the underside. And then on top. Do you do this? I have to tell you, I have not done that very often. And then I tried it the first time and I loved the effect so much that when I put on a full face of makeup now, I really try to make a point to have that clean up or sharpen the eyebrow, because I like that sharp look. I know that it is also trendy to have kind of a wild or more dispersed hair, or hairy. I don't want to say hairy because that sounds negative, but less precise eyebrows and more of a kind of a wild looking eyebrow, which is very attractive. I've seen it. I prefer on me, that was probably loud, I prefer on me the sharper eyebrow. Okay, so Valencia, good morning. Kathy, so that's Richard Ryan's wife, loves the eyebrow pencils, and Richard says the brow powder is great for filling in thinning hair areas. The brow powder really is quite magical, and we showed that in August. Those pieces come in those 4 different color choices. So we have the brunette, haze, auburn, and blonde, and I have enjoyed using both the brunette and the haze depending on how much depth or dimension that I'm looking for. But you have this color, and then you can use an angled brush, like so, an angled brush to tap into your brow powder, and then use it to create that same hair-like or feathery stroke. And when you've used the eyebrow pencil, you can actually use the brow powder to set the pencil so that the color stays on longer, or actually is more smudge resistant, which I totally appreciate. I'm not one that, like, I don't touch my face very often. Here we go. I don't touch my face very often, but I do find that throughout the day, because I sometimes wear a visor. In fact, I oftentimes wear a visor, particularly when I'm at a game, like a football game or a soccer game or a cross-country meet for my children, that just putting the visor on or kind of having things around my face or moving my bangs off my face, I come into contact with that area. Sometimes I'm like, are my eyebrows still in place? Can't have that. Can't have that. Okay, super fun. Now, you guys may remember one of the things that we went over last week was our eyeshadow capsule, or our makeup capsule, which was something kind of fun that you and I worked together. We made up on the fly, and I really enjoyed it. So what we're going to take a look at now is the eyeshadows that we'll put on. Beautiful, beautiful colors in the Color Me Beautiful line. And I'm actually going to pick up some that we didn't use last week, which will be helpful for demonstrating additional colors. So this is the Buttercream eyeshadow. And then this really lovely soft paddle brush. Take a look at how it just grabs on to all of that fantastic color. This is the Color Sense eyeshadow here in Buttercream in the Color Me Beautiful line. As we continue to celebrate color, this whole episode is brought to you by Color, this demonstration. And I'm going to start by packing that high and tight up into the underside of the eyebrow, which helps to set the concealer that I used to sharpen the eyebrow, but also used to help highlight that brow bone. And it's a matte finish. So what's nice about highlighting the brow bone with a matte finish is if you have a more maturing eyelid skin, then you can save the shimmers for the parts where you want to give it a little bit of pop, but you can still highlight your brow bone without highlighting crepey skin. And that is a great point to make for someone who maybe has a crepey a more crepey skin on the eyelid, or even has more of a hooded eyelid, and you still want to create some depth and dimension. So you want to highlight under the eyebrows and then create awesome dimension in your crease. So that was the buttercream color we started with. Then the next tool I'm going to use is probably one of my absolute favorites. I'm such a fan of crease brushes. Do you guys like crease brushes? You probably do. And here I have this crease brush, and we're going to actually use that in a relatively neutral color. And I've discovered that I use this one a lot, even though it doesn't look like it. And even as I said that, I was like, well, wait a minute. But it's very heavily pigmented. Here we go. Malted milk, and it looks like this. Malted milk. And I'm going to use the crease brush to roll in here. This will add some depth and dimension to the crease area of the eyelid. And I'll set this in here. So see where it starts? Like so. Good morning, friends. Thank you so much for watching. And then in this windshield wiper motion, back and forth. So let me go a little slow so you can see the deliberate motion there. And to get to my eyelid, this is a really fun tip. Take your handheld mirror and hold it to the end of your nose, like the end of your chin, like you're looking up your nose. But when you hold it down here, you open up the whole eyelid real estate, versus if your mirror is looking at you straight on and your eyelid is completely open. Hold on, I've got some whack lashes right now. I have to comb through those. But if you hold the mirror, or you have your mirror down at the end of your nose or the end of your chin, then it opens up your eyelid real estate and you can see more of your eyelid tissue. And that tip helps you get into your crease and avoid skipping. Sometimes when you put color on, if you don't do that, your eyelid skin can kind of skip and the color that you apply is not even. And this helps you to apply really smooth and even coverage in the crease of your eye. Focusing the most intense portions of the color in this outer V, outer third to half. So from the iris of the eye out to the corner. And then drawing over to the inside, like so, which creates some awesome depth and dimension. And point out that we've only used 2 colors so far. If you're looking for a really quick and easy to do application that just gets you out the door, these 2 colors would create enough depth and dimension in your actual eyeshadow that you could be finished for a wonderful day look. Great way to make it quick and easy, and it's a fantastic way for someone who doesn't wear a lot of makeup to transition into using makeup that enhances their natural face shape. So I'm going to rub the crease brush back into my malted milk color that's here in front of me and do the same thing on my left eye. Starting in the crease and moving all the way over in a windshield wiper motion. And with my eye down, my eye either closed, and I can actually do this with my left eye. I can have the one eye open, but I am not that talented with my right eye. Do you have an eye that's easier to do? But I mean, that's like painting your fingernails. Like when I'm right-handed, so my left hand always looks like it's perfect, but then, you know, my right hand looks like a child has painted it when I try to use my non-dominant hand to do that. So you probably have a dominant eye that looks easier when you, or looks better because it's easier to apply the color. Focusing on that outer third to 1/2, so from the iris of the eye out, that's where the heaviest concentration of color will go, and then moving back and forth, either with more precise motion, oh golly, holding the brush closer to the tip like this, or a loose, brushy, more diffused look by holding the brush on the end, like so. And we have all kinds of control with the unique qualities of these brushes, like using a crease brush or using this paddle brush. You know, you can get up here and have a more diffused, less precise finish, or if you want it to be really precise, you just hold the brush closer to the bristles or further away to change up the finished look, no matter what kind of brush you have in your hand. which is something I enjoy playing with. I think that's really helpful. So again, that's just 2 colors, and that's so easy to do. What we can do now is put a little bit of shimmer on the eyelid and keep this quite neutral. This is actually the Gleam, and can you see that Gleam has a little bit of a shimmer to it? This Gleam eyeshadow, glamorously Gleam. I will grab another paddle brush that I have and put the Gleam color on the paddle brush. Look at that. And then set it deliberately right here in the peak or the middle of the lower portion of the mobile lid, and then tap it toward the inside. And have that little pop of shimmer, just a tiny pop of shimmer. And that's just for today's look. You can do this in any way that you want, but this is just one example of how we can celebrate with color here and create more depth and dimension in our actual eye look. Okay, awesome. So since eyeshadow was something we played with, brows and concealer, the next thing that we're going to take a look at is our gorgeous, gorgeous blush. Oh my gosh. So to keep with this relatively neutral day theme, I'm actually going to work with this is the Natural Veil Color Pro Blush from Color Me Beautiful. Fantastic golden color comes out of this, and you'll see that this has just a little bit of shimmer. Let me move this around for you. There we go. You know, Jan has made a comment, what about crepey skin in that area? And I'm so glad you said that, because I said that earlier when I was talking about putting a highlight underneath the eyebrow. If you have a little bit of crepey skin on that inside, just patting a tiny bit of the shimmer right in the middle just helps to enhance the glow and the look of the actual eye. Has a little more of a youthful appearance without washing shimmer all over the whole eye, which can have that disco ball glaring effect and really settle into crepey skin. So just strategically placed shimmer, either just a tiny bit right up here in the peak of the eyebrow or a tiny bit in the middle of the lower mobile lid, is a really wonderful way to utilize a shimmer strategically on a crepey skin. Now, if you have a very heavy hooded eyelid and then when you open your eye, you don't even see the lower part of the mobile lid, then I would focus the shimmer, and let me just do a little bit of this now. I put just a tiny bit more of the Gleam here on that paddle brush, and I'll tap off the excess. That's not a mirror. Then you can just place a bit of the shimmer right up here, right up underneath the peak of the eyebrow, so that the attention of the eye is drawn upward, and the attention of the eye is not on the mature or crepey skin down closer to the lash line. So wherever you want to put a little bit of shimmer, use it in little small amounts. It's easier to add to than it is to take away. And practice with putting that in just really strategic highlighted points that will draw the attention to the up and outward parts of the face, which gives it a more lifted and youthful appearance. I think you'll have a lot of fun with that, Jan. Thank you so much for asking that question. So now we are going to play with our blush. Let me grab a beautiful blush brush. Where did I put it? Well, I will use this one. I have powder I dropped on this. So I actually have, like, the handles of my brushes they're kind of messy right now. And it's not even the brush bristles that are messy, but I dropped some of the, where is it? I dropped some of the translucent powder on my brushes yesterday. And so there's like this little dust of snow all over my brushes down here. So I'll put a little bit of the Natural Veil blush onto this lovely angled brush, and just look how those bristles grab that gorgeous pigmented color. Tap, tap off some of the excess. So the first swipe of color on the cheek isn't harsh and doesn't lay on like a little patch of color, but it's a nice soft wash or blend of color on the cheek. So starting to move here as I come down, swirling onto the apple of the cheek and out toward the hairline. Staying 1 to 2 fingers, depending on the width of your face, away from your nose, so that you aren't blushing the inside corner of your nose or making it look like you're having an allergic reaction or that you have a cold and you've been blowing your nose. And recognizing that color will really start in the same areas, the same geometry of the face as the arch of your eyebrow, and then the focus of the color on your eyelids. So you'll notice that most of that starts here, like so, like the concentration of color here on the apple of the cheek, and then working out toward the hairline. One of the best parts about using the Natural Veil blush, and I sometimes mix it with other colors, is it has a lovely golden shimmer effect. So it picks up just a tiny bit of shimmer on the cheek, and if this were your regular blush and you were thinking like, I'd like to experiment with highlighter, but I don't want to go full on highlight, Natural Veil is a great way to utilize color and highlight at the same time because it has such a gorgeous fleck. Can you see that? Such a gorgeous fleck of shimmer. Subtle, professional, mature, lovely, lovely bit of color that just goes right here on the peak of the cheek and then upward. I actually considered yesterday that Natural Veil is so golden and so versatile, they could almost be used as a bronzer look in the winter months when, in particular, so with my skin tone, when I don't have as much of a tan, then in the winter months, it's more appropriate for that to be more of a bronzer action for me to have that kind of golden sun-kissed look. But for this natural look that I'm doing here, even in the summer months, it creates the same kind of effect. All right. So focusing in that high and tight parts of the face again with the blush so that we're drawing the attention up and out, gives a contoured effect, but also has a lifting impact and makes the cheeks appear more youthful. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, so the last thing that we can showcase is a little bit of lips. And while we didn't talk about lips, I didn't give you any lip in August, we can absolutely put some of that color on here. So I have the Rose. I'm going to get some of my foundation off my lips so I don't have like a murky or a cloudy lip product. Although it's not my preference, but I've seen this. I actually know a woman that like puts foundation like on her lips and she likes that. Like, and I've seen that. Like it looks good on some people, like that super, super nude lip. I personally like color. I like bold, vibrant lips, but there are people that don't, you know, so I still take it off of there because I appreciate a bold or a more vibrant lip, or I prefer that according to my personality on my face. But there are some people, and I've seen this, and I've, you know, noticed it, that put that foundation on their lips and then they leave it there. So this is the Color Me Beautiful lip liner, and this is in the color Rose. I'm using Rose on me here. Do you guys use Rose? Let me know. So that's just the upper. Isn't it funny to see the face with like just just the one bit of lip that has color on it? I think that's funny. In many cases, I have worn just lip liner and no other lip color. I like the finish. I like the way it feels. I like that it doesn't feather or bleed up into any of the creases of my maturing lips. And I really like how it grabs onto lip color and really just extends the life of my lip color, whether I'm putting on a liquid lipstick or I'm putting on a cream lipstick. It doesn't matter. Starting with a lip liner is one of my favorite ways to build a lip look so that I know that I can go through my coffee or I can go through my lunch and I'll still have lip color on throughout the day. Michelle says, some artists use foundation on the lips as a primer. Totally right. But what I think is the best tool for that, Michelle, if you have the right thing, is that eyelid and lip primer that helps to lock in the color. Absolutely. Because those products, depending on what kind of foundation you're using, the lip and eyelid primer dries in place and doesn't tend to mix or muddy or murky up your actual lip color. So Michelle, you are spot on. You're exactly right. It works so well as a lip primer. It can also give you the opportunity to kind of change the shape of your natural lip when you have a primer on there first, so that when you go to draw your lip on, you can go either above your lip edge or bring it on the inside just a little bit and it's less noticeable. Michelle says lip liner with a touch of gloss is one of my faves. Isn't it though? It's just, it adds that strong base of color, but still gives you that luscious lip look. I totally agree. And then these pencils are soft enough that when you use this color on the mouth, it has a little bit of a blend, a little bit of creaminess there, not dry and tight like some lip liners are dry and tight, and that is not the case with these, and I do appreciate that. So any lip color suggestions, anything that you wanted to see put on top of that, because I have some fantastic choices here, and I almost always wear the Flory all-nighters, and I go back and forth between On Point and Selfie and Slay. Really, I use the three of those pretty regularly, but we'll use a cream lipstick today. Something that I like using is Rose Frost. I really like that color. Plum Sherbet, Rose Frost, and then one more, Perfect Plum. So there's a little bit of a theme there. Rose Frost, Perfect Plum, or Plum Sherbet. Which of those three colors would you guys like to see me put on today? And I'll put that on top of the Rose lip liner that you have already seen. Rudy says, you keep going from clear to fuzzy. Is it on your end? It does not say that I have a disruption in my feed on the phone. Sometimes it'll say like we're having trouble connecting on my end. But I do live in a cornfield, so if I'm having some trouble with my cellular signal today, it may possibly be on my end. I hope that that's not the case. Thank you, Celeste, for saying Rose Frost. Michelle said Plum Sherbet, so we have 1 vote for each of those. Looking for 2 votes of any one color. 2 votes of any one color. But Rudy, thank you for pointing that out. I know that that's frustrating. I'm sorry that that's the case, but really appreciate you sticking with us to help vote for this lip color. Plum Sherbet or Rose Frost or Perfect Plum. What do you think here? Let me put this color back. Set this down. It's sort of fun to see all of the work that we've done this month just come to life and be put together. The eyebrows, the concealer, the eyeshadow, the blush, and just see how all of that falls into alignment and really how quickly, without any additional conversation, those looks can get put together. Ooh, Jan said Plum Sherbet. Okay, so we have a winner. We have a winner, which is Plum Sherbet here. And I'm going to go straight to the lips. Excellent, excellent color to go over the rose. And that smells good. I have always said lipstick is entirely too close to your nose to not smell good. Some have like a manufactured sort of a chemically smell, and I just think this has kind of a sweeter scent to it, so I do like that. But that was the Plum Sherbet, and this is the obviously the Color Me Beautiful lip color. So that's what I just put on. And if you're loving it and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I completely need to get some of that, just put in the comments below, girl, hook me up. Let me know the names of the colors again. Let me know the link. I want to know how I can get this for my very own collection so that I can start to build my own wardrobe, my own makeup wardrobe for something that I'm going to use all the time and every day. So this will be my everyday look. And I love that we did this together. Thank you so much for helping me to put this on and celebrating all the color and all the skills that we learned in the month of August. That was fantastic. You guys are amazing. So what we'll do in the month of September is celebrate all the great things that pre-fall has to offer, including pumpkin spice latte, I'm sure. Like, who loves a pumpkin spice latte? Or who is just so looking forward to the fall? You know, it'll be fall, y'all. Put that in the comments below. Can't wait for the fall. Or your favorite fall emoji. You know what? Better yet, put your favorite fall GIF in there. GIF or GIF, whatever you like to say. Put those in the comments below, and we'll help celebrate pre-fall together. So I loved it. I love you. Thank you so much for joining today, and we'll see you guys next week for Living in the Fast Lane. Bye.